Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. My name is Henry Sullivan, and Andrew and I are testifying today on behalf of the Gonzaga Peace Club, a group of justice-minded students at Gonzaga College High School on I Street. Our involvement with the encampments began with a Washington Post article titled, "No Room on the Street, DC Orders Homeless Out of Underpass in Fast Developing Neighborhood." After reading this article, I knew we had to take action. So we held a teach-in for 30 of our peers regarding the plan to remove the encampments on K Street and the city's reasoning for the decision. That same day, a group of students walked over to the encampment community just 2 blocks away from our school. As we spoke with the people experiencing homelessness, the urgency of the issue crystallized before our eyes. One man we spoke with, Tim, was in a wheelchair. He told us that he finds the shelters in DC ridden with crime and drug abuse, and cited that the wait list for DC housing is in the tens of thousands. Everyone we spoke with acknowledged that the overpass shields the encampments and provides life-saving shelter from the elements. That day, I went home and placed my wallet with my ID safely on my desk. This time, I acknowledged that this seemingly regular action as a privilege. The people we spoke to that day, living in the encampments, have had their identification documents accidentally thrown away during these dehumanizing clearings, effectively having their lives thrown away. The Peace Club concluded that this vulnerable population must be protected, so we collected signatures from 352 members of the Gonzaga community in hopes of delaying the removal until an adequate pathway to housing was provided. And on January 15th, we faxed these signatures and a letter with our argument for delaying the removal to your office and the mayor's office as well. On January 16th, Gonzaga students worked with the Legal Clinic for the Homeless, Pathways to Housing, and Georgetown Center for Social Justice, among other organizations, to help move the encampments on K, L, and M Street. This was not the answer we were looking for. Later in the month, Peace Club members attended the January 23rd Street Sense Town Hall, continuing the conversations, NOMA encampments. One takeaway we had from that was that homeless patrons feel that services in the city are not accessible to them. But the most staggering thing we learned that night was that 80% of the encampment residents suffer from mental illness. I pass these encampments coming into Gonzaga every day. Some passerby may see these encampments as an eyesore, but the Peace Club sees this community as a marginalized population deserving of human rights. We have been instilled at Gonzaga a mandate to protect those on the margins of society, and that is why we came today. And we know that you are public servants because you are too dedicated to the people of the city you serve. This issue is complex and does not have simple answers. One thing is for certain. These women and men living on K, L, and M Street are not litter to be cleaned up. What we need to clean up is the injustice of homelessness.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. My name is Andrew Gans. On behalf of the Peace Club, we would like to ask for 4 specific action items. First, we would like to see a significant increase in funding for tenant-based vouchers and see growth in work with Housing First programs across the city. We acknowledge that housing people is a complex process, so in the interim, we ask that a waste management system be put into place for the encampments, including additional trash cans and portable bathrooms to maintain a sanitary, healthy, and dignified living space for these people. Second, the mentally ill are some of the most vulnerable members of these communities. Therefore, we would like to see an expansion of mental health care and outreach services for these encampments, another problem that is mediated by Housing First programs. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, we ask for the complete suspension of encampment evictions, especially during hypothermia season when the danger to their lives is compounded. The mental and physical toll that these encampment residents experience by being uprooted from their homes and communities, left to fend for themselves, is unimaginable. We have a duty to do everything we can for them. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony. Thank all of you for your testimony. I certainly appreciate it. And the gentleman who attended Gonzaga, I actually grew up in that neighborhood. I grew up at 6th and L Northeast. I used to walk to school there through that route every day. I've always been an advocate for human services issues, and have no intention of changing that at this point. We're going to ask the deputy mayor about some of the issues that you all raised, and we're going to ask about pace as well. So I appreciate your testimony today, and I only mention what I mentioned simply because that's kind of been my life. It's where I've been. So thank you all very much.